The Muppets. You can't hate them. Despite the lack of use nowadays, their legacy continues to this day through its lasting associating projects like Sesame Street and Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Even as of lately, The Muppets has been recently picked up by Seth Rogen for a Disney Plus special starring Sabrina Carpenter! And it could have the potential of a revival of The Muppet Show. What exactly keeps them relevant after all this time, though? Well, personally, I believe it's through its history and fandom. The Muppets, both its history and fandom, are more associated with queerness than one might think. Wait, hold on, what was that? We only have 5 minutes to do this? Well, what are we waiting for? Let's move right along and get to it! Richard Hunt, one of the main Muppet performers, had performed characters such as Scooter, Beaker, Statler, and other Muppets. He joined the original cast of Muppets at just 18 years old, and his impact on what we attribute to some aspects of the Muppets can be traced back to him. The Muppet Show aired in a prime time to be openly gay, as it was about 5 years after the Stonewall riot occurred, granting much more freedom for the LGBTQ community. During that time as well, Richard Hunt was openly gay within the Jim Henson studio and with other Muppet performers, and because they could base characters on themselves, that allowed Richard to slip sly little gay jokes into the show every now and then. For example, Dr. Butts and Honeydew and his lab assistant Beaker have had an ongoing gag about the two having quite the relationship between each other, often flirting and being very close physically with one another.
Beaker, you came back! Oh, may I cut in?
Baby?
Another notably queer character within the Muppets is Gonzo. Gonzo is the stunt performer of the Muppets with no clear classification on his species. Kermit is a frog, Fozzie is a bear, and Gonzo is... whatever. Literally. His classification, or rather lack thereof, is a running gag within the Muppets, and is what primarily appears to the queer community, being a source of non-binary or unlabeled representation in the Muppets. The biggest evidence of this is a visual gag in The Great Muppet Caper, where Kermit, Fozzie, and Gonzo are thrown out of an airplane, being labeled as frog, bear, and whatever respectively. To quote an article by Emma,
Vallandigham,
Gonzo's ambiguous, indeterminate identity is not particularly strange or worthy of concern in the Muppet world. Rather, Gonzo simply represents an alternate mode of being, and I really resonate with that. As the Muppets tie into being a Disney-owned product, the underrepresentation from the Walt Disney Company itself is something I feel should be talked about as well. Disney greatly struggled to implement queer characters into their films due to the Hays Code, despite being lifted in 1968. Most queer representation during that time can only be done through queer coding, which at the time included stereotypes such as being incredibly vain, feminine, or self-centered. These traits were given to Disney's villains of the Renaissance era, such as Ursula from The Little Mermaid, for example. As Tamara
Svobodová
puts it, Ursula's femininity is exaggerated to the point where it represents dangerous, sexually aggressive, and mature femininity. Ursula being heavily inspired by the drag queen Divine was an intentional choice by Howard Ashman, a gay lyricist working at the Walt Disney Company. Part of Your World was also written by Howard Ashman, and was a song that fought tooth and nail to be in the movie. The song serves as a subtle queer metaphor that sings themes of excitement and escaping to somewhere beyond the boundaries of what is already known. Some aspects of this queer coding are celebrated, while some take it as a need for improvement. I understand both sides of this argument, but between Disney and the Muppets, there's a clear winner, at bias, on who has the better representation. To finish this short essay, queer characters and people are things that have existed in the past. The only reason it wasn't as common was due to the shame and punishment placed on a person for simply loving someone of the same gender, or not conforming to what society deems as standard or binary. The Muppets are a group of characters that know who they are and thrive by difference. You can take the Muppets out of gayness, but you can't take the gayness out of Muppets. We will evolve as we get ourselves together, and we're only at the beginning. We'll be gay until everyone has forgotten, and then we'll be gay again. Disney is a mixed bag when it comes to its queer representation, both as a studio and a corporation. But there will always be something to say through the censors. This is a simple project, and I don't like making things emotional, but that's just where my heart is with the topics of queerness and the Muppets. I've heard it too many times to ignore it, and it's something I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find that rainbow connection, but for now, it's just between the lovers, the dreamers, and me. No, we're not doing this. We're not using Rainbow Connection in the credits. Play something else, please, now!